If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. You feel me them? I'm Quindell Evans, BluePoetTree.com. And this is the Blue Poet Tree Podcast. Let's go. On this episode, we're going to be doing a dissection, an explanation of this song, Killing Blacks, by myself, Quindell Evans. This is the first version. The second version has a feature by A Money. This is the first version off my first tape called Give Them More. And usually on this podcast, we speak about the habits that it takes to create a successful life and the habits that it takes to overcome a stressful life. And recently, we've decided that we're going to do music reviews of my songs. So, we're starting off, today with Killing Blacks. The last episode was Just a Fool. And the first one was my song, You Want to Smile. So check those out if you haven't already, so you can get a picture of my music and why I do it and the inspiration behind it, the lyrics and all. So we're going to start the traditional way with the Affirmation Pledge by Abiodun Oyewole. I call it the Affirmation Pledge. That's not the name of it. I don't know the exact name of it, but I like to write affirmations, and I feel like every line of the pledge is an affirmation. You feel me then? And it goes like this. I want to be what I can be, to be proud, healthy and free. I want to say what I know to help my brothers and sisters grow. I want to feel good about me and blame no one for my misery, 'cause I'll be strong and turn it around. I want to go up, I'm not going down. I want to do what I can do to make all my dreams come true. Remember my past, the good and bad, how I made it art even when it was sad. I want to share whatever my gift, and when you're feeling low, I give you a lift. I want to live without fear and know that I'm blessed for being here. You know that you're blessed for being here. Just know that we're blessed for being here. Just know that we're blessed. All right then. So thank you once again for tuning into the Blue Poetry Podcast. And today, the dissection of Killing Blacks is what we're doing. First of all, I want to say the beat was made by Real Chris. Actually, the beat was made by Castile, a student at a school I was teaching at. And Real Chris kind of put his twist on it in the production side in the studio, at the home studio I had living in the Bronx back in 2014 or 2015, excuse me. I had to recollect and make sure. But this song is entitled Killing Blacks, and it's pretty much about the struggle that the black people are going through in this country, America, even worldwide, but I'm talking about America because that's where I'm at, that's where I live, and that's what I'm seeing. That's where I'm seeing the black population be kind of attacked by police officers. I know people that are police officers. I don't have a thing against police officers in general, but that's what this song is inspired by. If you're a police officer, great, do your job, protect and serve as you're supposed to do. But I work in Rikers Island too. I work in Crossroads Juvenile Center. So I've been working inside, prison and rehabilitation facilities for about 5 years, and it's nothing but blacks in there. The population is 100. Like pretty much like close to 100% blacks. A few Hispanics, a sprinkle or two of other ethnicities, but it's straight black in there. So I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it looks like the prison industrial complex, is designed for black people. So cops are, designed to contain black people is what it seems like to me, I don't see much cops, walking the streets, what we call them beat walkers, in other neighborhoods as much as I see them beat walking through the neighborhoods that I grew up in, such as Brownsville and Mitchell Projects, Crown Heights, Flatbush, the neighborhoods I've lived in. I've seen cops, arresting and searching and ticketing and stuff like that on a heavy dose, on a daily basis, raids, stuff like that. Like, I seen that in the hood, and I don't see it in other places, so I'm not against cops, but it's just what I see. So I wrote this song based on that. And the song starts off with saying, you choose to do what you do you choose to do what you do? You choose to do what you do you choose to do what you do? And, it's just us questioning, like, it's me questioning, like, everyone, like, people in general, like, do we choose to do what we do? Or is things, is things based on some higher power or some type of, are we being controlled in a certain type of way? And that's just a self-reflection that I've always asked, like, I'm always on that type of mind, like, are our choices limited, or are we actually free to do what we want? And when it comes to cops killing blacks, the statistics show, like, the unarmed blacks that have been killed by cops it's just horrific. It's like, it's not cool. And year by year, if cops are killing anyone, period, armed or unarmed, it seems like blacks are just top on the list. You feel me? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's these statistics, And so after you choose to do what you do you choose to do what you do? The lyrics goes, they killing blacks like they at shooting practice. They shooting backs like they at target practice. And this was after Philando Castile was killed. I wrote this song. The cop shot him in the back, like, which is like uncalled for. It's not necessary to shoot a man running who is unarmed. He had like a over, I don't know what you call it, like he had he had so many parking tickets that it was a warrant out for his arrest. So he got stopped on the way home from buying like food for his children or something like that. He just got stopped while driving, and he was just like, I'm out of here. Like, he decided to run because he didn't want to get arrested, and the cop just started to chase him. I guess he got tired and was just like, I'll just shoot him, So this was after that. Like, they shooting backs like they had target practice. Like you could have tased them. You could have, you could have called him if you wanted to. Like, you could have called him. Philando Castile wasn't like a fit guy. He wasn't like a track star. He wasn't running even too fast. The cop could have called him if he wanted to. To shoot him down, shoot him in the back was uncalled for. It just wasn't cool. So this was me writing pretty much based on that. I actually wrote a poem too. I actually wrote a poem about the same situation. So like, I was pretty much emotionally affected by this, as a black man. Like, this is not cool. So they shooting backs like they had target practice. Gymnastics, they made this whole back flip the story around when they shot it for the masses. So it's a play on words. Gymnastics, they made this whole back flip. This flip the story around. It's like play on words, back flip the story around when they shot it for the masses. And of course, when they portray the story on media, even social media, it's so mixed. It's so twisted, and it causes us to perceive it in a way that isn't true to light, and it's just crazy. And the crazy thing is that it was a bystander recording it on the phone, which got the shooting on camera, and you seen the cops planting something on him, which was even more dramatic, which even more horrific. Which is like, they ain't not gonna show that on the news. You have to like see that on Instagram and Twitter and like the social media feeds. But on the news, it just shows just the shooting or just the parts that they want to show us, And then it goes on, behind these plasma screens, they all actors. Meaning like the news anchors, the news reporters are just reporters. They're not like they're not sharing how they actually feel about the story. They're just reading off the teleprompters. Behind these plasma screens, they all actors. Nobody's shooting back or asking what happened. Like none of us is coming together to retaliate. Not saying we should, but there are people who call themselves gangsters and who want to shoot, and we're shooting each other and stuff like that, which I feel like is a whole nother story, which isn't like something that I'm not with the slander. Like, I'm not slandering my people on saying like we can't address the cops shooting us because we're still shooting each other. I'm not one of those type of people. I feel like these are two separate situations that we have to address separately. We can't equate them and be like we're shooting each other and that's why the cops are shooting us. That's stupid to me. But I feel like we can address us killing each other totally separate. That's a totally separate conversation, a totally separate debate, a totally separate situation, a totally separate problem from us being killed by authorities that's supposed to be protecting and serving us. I guess supposedly, you feel me? If we do our research, from vagrancy, to Jim Crow, cops were never meant to protect black people. But that's another discussion anyway. Vagrancy laws and Jim Crow laws. I don't know if we're even on top of that because we're so like flooded with information and media that we never even get a chance to like research the foundation, the foundation behind chartering these police organizations, so yeah, nobody's shooting back or asking what happened to the gangsters with the gats who run up on you with the mask and a hood empty when the cops start asking. Meaning nobody knows nothing. We're in this like no snitch policy, which the no snitch policy was really originated from revolutionaries who were trying to serve the black community, like civil rights and Black Panthers times. So if you knew that there were people who were, vigilante black groups, or even if you knew that there were people who were starting like, public aid, like they were going to raise funds and feed the community, there was federal organizations, what was it called, like the counterintelligence program by the FBI, which was designed to stop, blacks from literally helping themselves, helping out each other in the community. They literally came and destroyed that. So like if cops were to question you on if you know anything about the Black Panthers, you wouldn't snitch. That's where no snitching came from. If you know that do you know about anything that's going on? If you know about anything that's going on with the civil rights movement and the people trying to help each other out and fight for rights, that's where the no snitching policy came from with us blacks. And it developed and evolved into we can hurt and harm each other and not snitch. Like I can get shot or stabbed or jumped and I'm not gonna snitch on a person who shot, stabbed, or jumped me. That's what it developed into, but it wasn't originated in that way. It was originated in these are people trying to help out. We're trying to help out our community, and if you know someone who's trying to help out your community and cops or FBI or any authorities come and question you, you can't snitch. You're not saying anything, So this is all the inspiration behind this song, Killing Blacks, So what happened to the gangsters with the gats run up on you with the mask and the hood empty when the cops start asking? School of hard knock, privilege, skip classes. You know, like I grew up in Brownsville, you know, Brooklyn, projects. I was born in the Bronx. First lived in Mitchell projects for the first 10 years of my life. You know, we call that the school of hard knocks. It ain't easy growing up in these type of communities. It ain't easy growing up in these type of conditions where there's food deserts and schools have no resources. You know, the same textbooks from last year's pages ripped out, no covers. All this stuff I've witnessed and I've experienced myself. You know, like barely any resources for us to learn. You know, after school programs and stuff like that is very scarce. You know, parents gotta work 2 jobs and food stamps, and they cut your food stamps. You working 2 jobs, and 2 jobs is not enough, and then you got all these kids, and you trying to keep up with the Joneses and buy Christmas presents. And we don't know how to manage money. We're not taught how to manage money. We're eating all this types of food, which is detrimental to our health, and we don't know what to eat or no education on how to even really be financially secure. All of these types of things create the school of hard knocks, and there's people who are privileged who skip those type of classes, who skip those type of experience, and that's what that metaphor is about, you know. School of hard knock, privilege, skip classes. Feel like I'm failing, keep watching my people passing. So that's a metaphor. Not watching my people pass in the class, watching my people die, watching my people go away on TV screens. They showing us these killings. I feel like it's a problem that we can even be seen. We can even be shown our own people being killed on the news every week and on social media every week. It's desensitizing us and making us feel like, oh, it's whatever, like we're being killed. And then after a while, it's just like, well, they shouldn't been doing this. They shouldn't been doing this. You know, and that's why the beginning of the chorus is you choose to do what you do. Do you choose to do what you do? Because it's like, are we choosing to be killed? You know, and that's something, you know, like that is like mind blowing. It's like, you know, philosophically we can say, oh, life is based on choice. Everything you do is based on your choice. And it's like, okay, Philando Castile chose to be shot in the back by a cop. Mike Brown, with his hands up, chose to be shot in the head by a cop. Cool, great. Like, that sounds good, but nah, I'm not buying that. You know, choice is out of the question now. Like, that's something that the cop chose to do, which is just not morally right, you know? So we can say he chose to run, but that's not a morally just repercussion to running away from a cop. You feel me? That's not a morally just, you know, repercussion when you got your hands up, you're being shot in the head for whatever you've done. I don't care what you've done. You feel me? I don't care what you've done. That's not morally just. You know, whatever you got parking tickets, it's not a good consequence. Mike Brown supposedly stole from a store. When they checked the cameras, it wasn't him. But either way, if he's done that, that's not the correct repercussion. I don't know how you could fear someone running from you. I don't know how you could fear someone with his hands up. Like, it's just crazy. So I feel like I'm failing. Keep watching my people passing. Killer Black in the movie, it's a classic. Same thing playing in the hood, but who's acting? Who's the actor? You feel me? And that's just, I don't even want to explain that bar right there, but it's like, you know, Killer Black in the movie, it's a classic. Same thing playing in the hood, who acting? I don't even want to explain. I just want to leave that there. I want to leave that there. You feel me? Because that is amazing, and I want you to tell me how you feel about that. Killer Black in the movie, it's a classic. Same thing playing in the hood, who's acting? You feel me? And it goes back to you choose to do what you do. You choose to do what you do. Do you choose to do what you do? They killing blacks like they at shooting practice. They shooting backs like they at target practice. Gymnastics, they made this whole backflip the story around when they shot it for the masses. That's my dissection for the song Killing Blacks by Quindell Evans. Moi. And let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you're feeling like, oh, that's too much, bro, you're bugged out. Or let me know if it's like, yo, that's real. Like, it makes me think about what's going on in society, and stuff like that. So, you see, I like to write songs that are reflecting on how I'm feeling, you know, and also what I see and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn education. And once again, if you want to listen to that song, search Quindell Evans on iTunes, or the link's in the description too. So if you're listening to this or watching this, the links is in the description so you can listen to my music. Just click on one of the links. Let's go.